Now with our image added here to our place model and in the provider, we can of course also display it on the screen. For example, in places list. There I have this list tile where I output my title, and there I now also want to display the image. For that, I'll set the leading parameter on list tile, which is one of the built-in parameters that can be set, and this parameter wants a widget as a value, which will simply be shown at the start of the row. Now the widget I do want to display here is the circle avatar widget, which simply renders a circle with some content inside of it. And here we can set the radius of this circle, and I'll set it to 26, though you can of course play around with that. And I'll set the background image parameter here to basically tell Flutter that inside of this circle I want to have an image in the background. And I could then also add some foreground content, but in here I only want to have an image, so in the end it also doesn't matter whether I set foreground or background image. This would only matter if the foreground content would be transparent, for example. But here I'll set my background image, and this now wants an image provider, so not a widget, hence will not use image.file, because that would give us an image widget, and the background image instead wants an image provider. Instead we'll use file image, which sounds similar, but which is such a image provider. It extends image provider in the end, as you can see here. And it's this file image which I'll set here, and the file which I want to display, which is this first argument wanted by file image, is simply that file stored in my place. So here we can then use places index to get a single place, and then there the image, which is such a file. With that, we should be able to add a new place, give it a title, take a picture, and click Add Place, and we see that image here as well. Now we might want to add some padding around that list to add more spacing between this top edge of the image and the app bar. And for that, I'll go to my places.dart file and wrap my places list here with a padding widget to add some padding in all directions, maybe 8. So now we have that extra spacing. More importantly, I want to make sure that when we tap this, we're taken to this detail screen where I now want to display this image. And indeed here my idea is to display this image as a pretty much full screen image. And then later, on top of that full screen image, I want to display a smaller image that shows us the location on a map and the address as human readable text. But at the moment, I just want to have that full screen image. But since I plan on displaying some content on top of it later, in placeDetail.dart, I will replace this center widget, which displays the title, with another widget, because the title is already shown here in the app bar, so there's no reason to also show it on the screen. Hence, I'll remove it. And replace it with the stack widget instead, about which you learned earlier in the course already. The stack widget is simply a widget that allows you to display multiple other widgets so that they are really placed directly above each other, on top of each other, that they overlap each other. And here on this stack, we have to set the children parameter and now add all the widgets that should be placed on top of each other, starting with the bottommost widget. And that should be this image. So here I'll use image file again, because here I want to display an image widget. And the file I want to use here is of course my place. So place.image. And I'll then configure this image and set the fit to box fit cover and set the width to double infinity to take as much space as possible, and the height to double infinity to take as much space as possible. If I do that, I do see this image here, full screen below the app bar. And as mentioned later, we'll put some content on top of that. But for the moment, that's it, and we're now ready to move on to pick a location.